Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to talk about a really fascinating idea at the heart of managing your money. The idea that being reasonable is actually a secret weapon, one that beats being purely rational every single time. I mean, think about it, right? We're always told to follow the math, to be cold and calculating with our investments. But what if that so-called smartest plan, the one that's mathematically perfect, what if that's also the one you're almost guaranteed to fail at? So let's dive into why, when it comes to your money, being reasonable is so much more important than being rational. And to really wrap our heads around this, we're actually going to step away from the stock market for just a second. Let's talk about something we've all experienced, that awful feeling when you're getting sick. You know what I'm talking about, a fever, that miserable, achy, can't get comfortable feeling. That's actually your body's frontline defense system doing its job. But if it's so good for us, why is our first instinct to crush it with medicine? All right, let's really dig into this fever analogy because it's the perfect way to understand this tension. The tension between what's technically the best thing to do and, well, what we can actually put up with as human beings. So, you can see the conflict laid out right here. On one side, you've got the science. It's telling us a fever is a good thing, a powerful tool to fight off whatever's making you sick. The purely rational choice? Let that fever burn. But then there's reality. Fevers feel awful, and we just want the pain to stop. So what do? We take medicine. Now, that's not rational. Heck, it might even make us sick for a little longer, but it is 100% reasonable. And that right there, that is the whole idea. The best financial plan for you isn't the one that looks prettiest on a spreadsheet, the one with the highest possible returns. No, it's the one you can actually tolerate, the one you can stick with when things get rocky and uncomfortable, just like you chose to treat that fever. Okay, so let's bring this idea of tolerable right back into the world of finance. We're going to define the two types of investors this creates, because this difference is everything. So on one hand, you have the rational investor. Think of them like a computer, just crunching numbers, chasing mathematical perfection. But then you've got the reasonable investor. This person operates in the messy, real world we all live in. They're thinking about their own fears, what their partner thinks, and hey, just the simple desire to get a good night's sleep. They're not looking for perfection, they're looking for a strategy they can actually live with. And here's where it gets really interesting. Even the absolute geniuses who came up with all these theories of rational finance, a lot of the time, they don't even follow their own advice. This next story is a perfect example. So, let me introduce you to Harry Markowitz. This guy is a legend. He literally won a Nobel Prize for his work on creating mathematically perfect portfolios. But when it came time to invest his own money, you know what he did? He didn't run some super complex formula. Nope. He based his entire decision on one simple, powerful human emotion. He wanted to avoid feeling regret. His goal wasn't to squeeze every last penny of potential return out of the market. His goal was to maximize his own peace of mind. He went with a simple 50-50 split of stocks and bonds because it felt right. It protected him from the gut-wrenching pain of being completely wrong one way or the other. Was it the most rational decision on paper? No. But was it perfectly reasonable for him? Absolutely. And this is a really important point. Chasing that kind of pure spreadsheet-perfect rationality, it's not just impractical, it can be flat-out dangerous to your financial health. Okay, check this out. There was this study from Yale, and on paper, the strategy it suggested looks brilliant. It says a young investor should borrow money, use leverage, to buy even more stocks, right? You take on more risk when you're young and have time to recover. The math even showed it could lead to 90% more money by retirement. Sounds amazing, right? What could possibly go wrong?
Well, here's what could go wrong. Just one bad downturn, a 50% drop in the market, which is not at all impossible, and you're wiped out completely. Your entire investment, gone. Poof, zero. Now, a spreadsheet might tell you, hey, no big deal, just start over tomorrow. But can you even imagine that feeling? Watching every dollar you saved for your future just evaporate into thin air? No normal human being could go through that kind of catastrophic loss and then just rationally say, well, time to get back on the horse. It's not just unreasonable, it's insane. And all of this leads us to what is maybe the single most powerful force in all of investing. And it's simple. It's just stubborn stick-to-itness, endurance. This is the real secret sauce, everyone. Your true advantage isn't finding some perfect plan.
It's finding a good enough plan that you actually believe in, one you're emotionally committed to, a plan you can stick with when the market gets scary. That commitment is the key that unlocks the absolute magic of compounding over decades. And hey, don't just take my word for it. The data screams this from the rooftops. Just look at how time completely changes the game. If you invest for just one day, your odds of making money are basically a coin flip, 50-50. But if you stretch that out to 20 years, historically, your odds of success jump to nearly 100%. The most important thing is just staying in the game.
So, what this means is that some behaviors that look kind of irrational on the surface are actually totally reasonable if they help you do that, if they help you stay invested. Like favoring stocks from your own country just because they feel more familiar, a spreadsheet would say that's dumb. But if it gives you the confidence to invest, it's reasonable. Or how about setting aside a tiny slice of your money to pick some fun stocks just to scratch that itch so you don't mess with your main retirement funds? Again, perfectly reasonable. So at the end of the day, think of it like this. You don't need a financial plan that's built like a Formula One race car. Super high performance, yeah, but also incredibly fragile, volatile, and impossible for a normal person to drive. What you need is the financial equivalent of a reliable family car. Something that can handle the potholes and the bad weather of the real world and just get you where you need to go safely. So that leaves us with one final question for you to think about. Take a hard look at your own financial plan. Is it built for a spreadsheet, or is it built for you? Is it designed for a world of perfect numbers? Or is it designed for a real, living, breathing human being with all of our weird quirks, our fears, and our dreams? Because the only plan that's going to work is the one that's built to last. And the only one that will last is the one that's built for you.